party was curb stomping the DM's BBEG real hard, and the DM took offense to that. Decided to beef up the Rakshasa a little bit, and he might have went a bit overboard, accidentally TPK'd the party, so session's canceled.
Rakshasa.
Hey guys. Rakshasa. Oh, and the table was flipped. Well, it is the session's canceled boys with an I. Back at you once again.
An IZ.
An IZ, yeah. Boys is.
The boys.
I am here with Josh.
Indeed.
And I am here with Isaiah.
What's poppin' jambles?
There you go, Josh. We did it right.
You did do it right. I wasn't going to say anything, but you did do it right.
Oh, don't worry. I won't do it right next time.
Everybody gets one. But today, listeners, everyone out there in the internet, I've been having a thunk real hard, brain scratchy lately. And I want to talk about high
Matt,
content.
do big thinky hard talk.
Big thinky.
Brain
Yes,
grr.
yes. Welcome to my not TED Talk, my med talk here on the stage. Only the most important questions in the universe, which is
My med talk.
high level content. What do now? How do? Thank you. Hold your applause.
I don't think that was applause worthy, but all right, but
Don't worry. The
That's
applause will be
for
held.
Brett
You'll
to
know.
decide.
You'll know when I release the applause.
okay.
Yeah. So, I guess to before we get started, Josh, do you want to tell the listeners our usual spiel?
Tell them where they can find us.
Isaiah, I'm gonna strangle you.
Never gonna stop.
Because Matt took the time. Matt took the time to be like, I don't know where to go with this, so I'm gonna go with a very generic statement, so I can't be wrong. And then Isaiah goes and says, I'm gonna fuck it up anyway.
Yep.
I'm just gonna kill you both for different reasons. I'm killing you both. That being said, yes, please hit the follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you're currently listening on. And if you have already done so, share us with a friend or maybe your cat. You like cats? Actually, Matt's allergic to cats, but me and Isaiah like cats. Actually, my cat is currently sitting on my lap
Evil.
right now. Everyone can say hello through the internet.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah,
Not you
fellers.
two.
Bad.
Damn. What I have a couple, talking points for us today. 9 to fuck is high level play. What do you guys think when I'm talking about in a tabletop RPG spherical? What does that mean? What am I talking about?
It is
Okay, so this is interesting. This is where I have to pull a Josh and ask you specifically, what are you looking for on this question?
I'm just saying anything. Just brain vomit. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I'm like, high level, like, upper echelon tier?
No, I get that. But are you asking what we consider? Like,
Sure.
okay, maybe it's you. So I guess you should ask, what do we consider high level to be in terms of like level range, and then maybe our thoughts on it.
Yeah, man, whatever floats your boat.
All right, motherfucker.
It's free. It's a
Look,
free stance.
How does it feel?
Usually I'm really good with being super broad, but that is way too broad.
How
Matt.
does it
Even for me.
feel?
I mean, it's fine because usually the broad is all right. I don't.
Oh, broad's
like-
all right when Isaiah decides for it to be broad, but not when anyone else decides for it to be broad. I see how it is.
No.
I see how it is.
No, sir. Don't worry. No, it's fine. Don't worry
I
about
see how it is.
it. Just because you can't see the internal logic doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
There's no logic here.
Absolutely, there is.
There is no logic
Anyway,
here.
to me, high level is probably level 14 and up. And what do I think of high level? Fun to play, underutilized, messy, and let's see, yeah, underutilized, messy, and sort of maybe a product of lack of foresight? I don't really know. Yeah, that's my thoughts on high level play.
Mhm.
Do we specify we're only talking about high level 5e here?
Currently, yeah, high
Because
level
I feel
5e, but I was gonna ask later on, like, how do other games kind of handle it? Like,
Basically,
Just-
everyone does it better than 5e.
okay,
That's kind of been my experience,
yeah,
with the exception of maybe Shadowrun.
Mm.
What a surprise! Shadowrun always coming up, baby.
yeah. Although I do hear complaints about Pathfinder, but not from the game doesn't work in higher level problem. It's more of the barbarian, like, totem barbarian problem where there's really only one solution, the optimal solution, and you have to take that at high level. Or
I've
you're
heard
just
a
not
lot of
gonna
people say that
survive.
Pathfinder has a problem. I've heard, like, overall Pathfinder has a problem that there are very optimal, this is just the best option type builds in that game that are pretty prevalent. Like, I've heard that,
Yeah.
like, and not even just, and I've also heard that what?
What?
There are really optimal builds, but there are also optimal rotations within specific class and character builds, to the point where many Pathfinder turns you just end up doing your MMO like boss rotation over and over and over again, which is a criticism I've heard
too.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, overall, and I guess in the context of D&D, then, Josh, what do you think?
high level play is play past the halfway point. So past level 10.
Mm.
See, Matt gave a really broad. I was going to be really snarky and say that before Isaiah and Matt had the whole back and forth there. So now I look less snarky, but yeah, I mean, it's just play past the halfway point because you've hit the second half, the back half of the game.
And
Which is to say, level 11 onward.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
In 5e,
How
fucking
does that
sucks,
make you
bro.
feel?
It's fucking ass, dude. Like, sucks to run. I don't feel like it's that particular fun to play. Like, it's fun. It's fun for a little bit, and then you realize that your like hilarious overpoweredness is kind of gets old. It sucks balls to run for a multitude of reasons. It kind of sucks balls to prep for. I don't particularly like the types of stories that come from high level D&D. I just generally not a fan. I mean, you can do some, like, if you have some cool, I guess it's good. The one thing it can be good for is if you have an idea for a very over the top shonen anime-esque like plot line, it can be good for that. If you all want to play the Z Fighters and do the Tournament of Power, high level play is good for that. But like that kind of feels like that's about it. Like, just doesn't. I feel like
You don't think like the Lord of the Rings characters were 20th level? Like,
no,
it's like
Lord of the Rings characters are like level fucking 8, maybe. Like, that's what I was just about to say. Is when you go back on fantasy novels, I think most of them they're stopping at like level 10. Like there's no. I mean, of course, there's going to be exceptions, but I can't, like, off the top of my head, like, Geralt ain't casting Wish. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, so you know what's I've found interesting about level 20 is that I have not yet gotten, like, bored of level 20 play, but level 20 has allowed me to do a lot more experimenting and not feel so bad about it. Like, I guarantee you, I would have never used Wall of Stone if I wasn't max level.
I mean, maybe. I feel like you using Wall of Stone, though, is also part of the situation the game is currently in, that Wall of Stone happens to be quite useful.
It is, yes, but it's also because I have... It's at level 3, right? It's like, do I use the Revivify, or...
Oh, you're talking about having the spell slots to burn.
Just not even the spell slots, the resources to burn. Because you're like, well, I'm pretty confident that I won't explode. It's going to take, at least for Django, and for my other characters who've made it even remotely that high, it's like, well, it's going to take a decent amount of nonsense to knock me out and make me feel like I've wasted a single turn. I feel a little less bad about experimenting because I can repair any damage I've done pretty quickly. So that nonsense feels a lot more like, fuck it, go wild. You can still save it if it doesn't go according to plan. Which I feel like at lower levels, if your plan goes tits up, then it's everything's tits up, and now you're fighting to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely be riskier high level. You can sort of you can have much more of the fuck it, we ball energy.
Yeah, which I frankly I like. It is like, I get why people don't necessarily like it, because it's like, well, it takes a lot of the like stress and the drama away, which it does. Don't get me wrong. Like it's not that it's not there completely. It's just not the same.
It doesn't have
more
to.
Say that from a player versus DM side, like high level, like level 20 play is very different. Like, yeah, level 20, you have a lot of resources to manage as a player, but like as a DM, it's so much more nonsense.
It's completely two different games. It's like such an insane. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can even put it into words. It's like, it's asinine how it's like you're playing D&D and you play at level 1 to 10, you're playing D&D. At level 11 to 20, you're playing D&D 2. Like, it's just not even, it doesn't even feel like the same game. It's like, it feels like it's like that part in the beginning of the you know, like the God of War game or something like that, where they haven't taken all your powers away yet. You have all your powers still from the first game, so you're super OP, and you do like sort of easy cheesy tutorial balls with all your OP bullshit. Like, it's just it feels like that, but the whole game, I can't even really put it into words. It's so obvious they just didn't really play test it. They didn't really figure it out. They didn't take the time to put the nose to the grindstone out. Like, it's just so clear to me.
Yeah.
It drives me insane. It really does. And like, I'm not even, this is going to sound like I'm just suffering and hating my current campaign and stuff. Like, I'm not, because I knew I was ready. I was prepared, and I'm dealing with it accordingly. But yeah, like, if you're a totally new DM going in blind and you hit that next phase, you hit that tier 3 and 4, and you're not ready, you're going to get slapped around a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened to me.
I mean, I like, even with me knowing and being ready, there were still moments where I was like, Jesus fucking, I didn't. Okay, all right, this is what we're doing. Fine. I will say one thing that's a little fun about high level play on the DM side of thing, because since I've been dealing with high level play for quite a long time, like a year plus at this point. One thing that is kind of fun is having the ability to come up with just some insane batshit scenario and just yeeting, like just fastballing it at your players' faces and go, surprise, motherfucker, deal with it. You know, because they're gonna figure something out. Like, you know, like high level play is like, you take the automatic pitching machine, right? And you put it in front of the players and you point it directly at their faces, and then you load it with concrete tennis balls and you just go, dodge, bitch. You know, like, you could just throw insane shit at them. Like, I remember my players going down into the Underdark and talking to the Drow, and the Drow were like, hey, you want to help us commit regicide and kill our demigod leader? And the players were like, I mean, shit, I guess. You know? So that shit's kind of funny. But also that it does, I'm not gonna lie, it also gets old. You know? Pros and cons, I guess. I don't know. I guess high level D&D, wacky woohoo wah.
I guess, Isaiah, for you, because you're running like a 5e hack, like, how do you feel? Like, is it basically the same thing as running like 5e? Like, it's still like you're running into the same kind of issues that like Josh is dealing with, or like I dealt with, or do you feel like it's a little easier
in some ways
for some reason? Yeah.
No, well, so I'm definitely struggling to think about things that can provide them a challenge. Because, and I talked about this a lot last time we had podcasts, which is like, there are just some things that you can't reasonably do in Hellscapes. Like, you know, at 20, at epic level, the second you have 9th level spell slots, you know, the Lich being able to cast Power Word, Kill, or Disintegrate, not that crazy, right? Because you have at that level ways of dealing with that. It's not easy, but you can do it. And I'm not saying like, oh, the DM can help you. I'm saying you as the player have tools that the GM can't say or do shit about, right? You have true resurrection. You got true resurrection. Ain't nothing stopping it. But I could just be like, oh, your character just dies. But there's no universe where that doesn't feel shitty. None. You know? Mm. Especially because the players can't do anything about it. They can't defend from it. They can't try to fix it. It's me just taking their stuff away. Which is not cool, you know?
Yeah. Although that is I think we mentioned it on like one episode a long time ago. That is a good players for whatever reason. Like they hate having their toys, their magic item, their armor taken away from them from a bad guy or from whatever the situation. So like if you dealt with like, oh, you know, here's the ancient dragon, but I swapped it out for like, you know, an ancient rust monster. The player's gonna fucking hate that.
They are, yeah, but I don't necessarily want to throw shit at them that will just get on their nerves, you know? Because there's like a fine line you have to walk between like, oh, I can just sort of throw whatever I want with them because they can handle it, versus the players being like, oh my fucking god, I don't want to deal with this. Fuck me, you know what I mean? Like. One is just like a weird combative style, which I don't want to do that. Yeah. I'm not struggling that much. Like, I don't know. I've only been doing it for about a month and a half, so there's like there's only so much I can talk about. But yeah, I mean, it generally it's just being like, what can I throw at them that's difficult but not unfair, given that there, again, is no magic and no rules as written means to deal with dying. And I don't want to keep giving them fucking defib units because that, A, sort of illegitimizes all the trouble they went through at the beginning of the campaign to find the defib unit and to use it when one character died. And the fact that if I start giving it to them now, when like right after, or not right after, but a few months after another character died, and it was the only real permanent character death in the game, it'll just feel shitty, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like high level. I like running high level, but I don't know if I have enough experience to say like I'm tired of it or I don't like it anymore. I think running it is fun, and I think I like the idea of being able to plan for it in some ways, to be like, oh, I can do this, and now I can do this. Like planning out all the end game stuff is cool for sure.
All right. Have you guys ever
weirdly scattered? But sorry.
No, yeah, I agree. Have you guys ever played like a higher level character, like above like 16th level, one shot or otherwise?
Nope.
Yeah, I played a few. I've done a lot of like 2 or 3 shots, a lot of like level 20 bosses. Like I was actually, there was a TTRPG bar near where I used to live in New York, and every Sunday you could go and do like a level 20 boss fight, and if you could beat it within 4 hours, I think, you got like put up on their Instagram, and you got all this cool stuff that you could do. It was really cool.
Oh, is that the game where you guys almost killed the Tarrasque? Or
yes. No, it was. Yeah. So it wasn't. So they did kill the Tarrasque the week before. He had to fight a great worm before a great worm was a thing you could fight, in like this crazy powerful like magic knight. And we got damn close. The only reason why we didn't end up doing it is because one of the guys was an hour late, and I think we beat him like 15 minutes after time went up. So we absolutely could have done it. It's just one of the players was an hour late. We had to like reserve a spot. There was some jankiness, but yeah, we would have done it.
And this wasn't like an organized play thing. This was like the shop did it themselves, and they ran like these events themselves, right?
Yeah. You went in, you paid, like you were like, oh, okay, I'm coming to this event. You pay for it. You pay for it not in advance once you get to the place that day, and then you get like a free drink and some other goodies, and then you can do the thing, and then when you're done, you hang out until the store closes or keep drinking or whatever.
That's cool. That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like old. Like I used to have a comic book shop near me, and they used to do the same thing with like the Magic the Gathering tournaments, Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and stuff, where you pay for like one of those events and you come in. It wasn't like run or what do you call it? Hosted by the company, like the card companies, but the card shop just did it because they're like, yeah, we have a lot of nerds in this town. But
sorry, I thought you were gonna keep going. But...
Oh no, you're good. I didn't want to interrupt.
Nobody was talking.
I guess
there was nobody to interrupt.
I didn't know if he was gonna start. Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Anyways, I think this is the next thing that Josh is probably gonna disagree with. The thing he was mentioning. One of the big things, and mostly this whole like topic discussion came from me actually watching the XP, the level 3 video, how it feels to run, above 10th level games as a meme, and then just having the few memories of that basically happening with me, except instead of like overpowering the boss like a mofo, I kind of just went, well, I guess I'll do better the next encounter. Like,
I'm assuming you did that at infinitum until the game ended.
Yeah. Like I mentioned the 3-year game videos, like the one banishment fight where I like built up this rogue leader and the players are like, all right, so we're gonna sneak past everything, and then we're gonna go into her office, and then I cast banishment on her, and then we're all gonna hold our actions to shank her, and then when she comes back, we all shank her, and she's dead.
Like the Baba Yaga fight, all of them.
Yep. And I'm like, well, that was a few hours of my life wasted building that NPC. Okay. Edge.
I've said this before. I think I just laugh. I don't think I'd have it into me get mad. Like it's so nonsense that it's funny.
Mm. Well, now I'm like that. Now I'm like, oh shit, they one shot like the boss. Fuck, that was cool. But before, as a newer DM, I was like, man, I fucking put all this time and effort into this shit. Fuck. At least I could have got a round.
So I think the reason why my mindset is like that is because my players have just talked their way out of several boss fights. And it's like stuff I've worked, like it's previous Isaiah when I did even less work than I do now to prep fights, and the one time I do prep, the characters are like, "No, we're not going to fight him. We're gonna talk our way out of this." I'm like, "All right, man, fuck it. Let's see where this goes." Like
hey, what if I just made him a real bastard that they want to fight him? No, they still want to talk to him. He's literally just stomping on a cat now. Like the fuck.
Well, so the ones that I made
psycho.
The ones I made real, like, what is it? The Hateful Eight, where it's like, you only need to hang mean bastard. Like, I had maybe 2 of those. And them, they were like, nah, we want to fight these guys. But any character with a level of nuance and maybe some, like, inner turmoil, they were like, look, man, it doesn't have to be this way. We can talk this out. It's all right, man. And they usually pulled it off either by just making really good arguments or rolling really, really high in terms of persuasion.
Yeah.
So I just stopped getting mad. I just like, because it won't feel earned if he's like, I like my sources that I made it the fuck up. I'm not gonna do that. So because that would feel like shit. But yeah, no, I can't get mad anymore.
Yeah. But as someone who's right now, my players are only level 7, so I'm not dealing with the high level shenanigery yet. I'm starting to get into that where some of the encounters and stuff I prep, and I'm like, all right, cool, level 7. Like the players are, this is like when D&D's actually like the CR and everything works. And then like we had an encounter the other a couple sessions ago. I'm like, okay, I did not tune that correctly.
Hey Matt,
it's level 7. This is supposed to be the thing.
You've dealt with this before, so at least you're a little more prepared this time around.
Oh yeah, no, I was more prepared. I was like, ooh, shit. I was like, I thought this was the correct encounter, but I was like, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, I guess I must have been like, also, new shit gets added. So, like before, my players didn't have like Tasha stuff come out, and now the player, and again, even at like mid-level, like level 7, like my players are they're stronger than the average like player handbook level 7 characters should be. And that's all like combining of like gear, feats, all that jazz. But like thinking about the future now, and thinking about like my struggles in the past and like shit I would have liked. And I get it. Now it's like Wizards, they're finally going to like, all right, it's the end of 5e, 0.1, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like now we're going to do like, a level 20 adventure with Vecna. Oh, it's coming, guys. Finally, look, level 20. It's what you've been asking for.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of
like, all right. Somebody give me the soapbox. Give me the box. I got a box to stand on. Come here. Give me that shit. All right. Slaps the box down. All right. let me climb up. Yeah. All right. We need to talk about this whole, we're putting a level 20 adventure in, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the videos that D&D put out where I believe it was Monsieur Perkins this time. I don't think it was the Jochra. He was like, people keep saying that there's not enough support for high-level play in the game and that we need to put in more high-end monsters and high-level things to do. So that's what we're doing with the rules refresh. We're going to give you lots of high-level monsters and stuff to do with high-level play. And I'm sorry, but Monsieur Perkins, that is not the fucking problem, mate.
See,
that's not what the problem
French
is.
To Cockney, what the?
I don't know. Listen,
see, I agree. It's not the monsters.
It has nothing to do with the monsters.
There are a ton of monsters that work in all tiers.
It has nothing to do with the content. It has nothing to do with the monsters. It has nothing to do with the player's abilities even so much. It's that the game just leaves you hanging. It has no advice. It has no structure. It has no mechanics for you to add to the later tiers of play, later levels of play. There is a lack of foundation. It's like you build in the house, right? You got the good foundation set up for the first level of the house, and you get to the second level of the house, and you like ran out of wood for the foundation, so you like kind of cheat. So you only sort of have some foundation. So like the second level of the house is like half finished, and you can sort of live up there, but it's not really safe to live up there. You might fall through the floor, but you might not. It's like. I got so annoyed when I heard that. I was like, my guy Perkins, it has nothing to fucking do with the monsters or the content. That's not the problem at all. The problem is that DMs get to that point and go, I don't know what the fuck to do. This is too much shit.
Can I
aggressively kicks box. So box.
Yeah, I want to read a little bit of what the DMG says those adventures are fucking supposed to be.
Yeah, but it doesn't. To be clear, I know the DMG has a little comment on this, but I just want to be clear.
No like mechanics, no like charts, no.
It
tables.
doesn't have. Yeah, it doesn't have structured guidance.
Yeah,
which is to say, explanations of like tables of things you could throw at them, or explanations of types of encounters or problems that would challenge high-level players, or breaking down like kinds of things they could do with their abilities and like the types of fights or the types of encounters you could throw them into now that they're high level. None of that shit. None of it's there. But yes,
it's not in the DMG. It's in other books and other third-party books as well.
It's in third-party books for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know of any official books that.
It is, and I'll go over them because I do have a bunch of examples.
Okay.
So in the section of the DMG where it goes tiers of play, and they go to level 11, the third tier, level 11 to 16. It's like, the fate of the nation or the world might depend on the heroes. They could be, defeating a powerful dragon, or they could start, finding hardware treasure, making guilds or temples, basically doing the strongholds and follower thing.
Right.
they're getting powerful spells like Word of Recall and Teleport and True Sight and Disintegrate. That's it. You know, like,
right. See, and that's a perfect example, right? So you specifically call, like, they're getting powerful spells like Disintegrate and Word of Recall and Heal and Blade Barrier and shit, right? Okay, and Teleport. Yeah. But then nowhere in the book do they tell you how to deal with the fact that they have that shit. Like, just, here's the thing. If I'm a new player and I read those listed out, I'm going to look at those and go, okay, I don't know what any of those spells do. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, I don't even remember what Word of Recall does.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you call this shit out as being like, this is the kind of crazy shit they can do, but then there's zero guidance on how to deal with it. Like, how do I manage that fact? And the game's like, I don't know. Hope for the best.
Yeah, like tier 4, Masters of the World, level 17, 20. It's like they get Wish and Gate.
Right.
And a Staff of Magi and a Vorpal Sword. And it's like, they're the fate of millions in the material plane and beyond. The multiverse, I fucking want to throw up every time I hear that word now. Like, you fucking reach the pinnacle of the 20th level. Fucking, it's like, they should be, you know, again, I kind of made the joke in the text somewhere, but I'm like, the fuck am I supposed to do? Am I like dimension hopping, god smacking, demon banging, like multiverse ripping adventure? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
And they have
that is actually what ends up working out. Yes.
Yeah. And they have examples of that in other, like, again, older editions. They have examples of that, again, third-party stuff, but like present 5e, you have a couple of adventures in their anthology books, like Tales of the Yawning Portal. I don't think Ghost of Saltmarsh goes that high. Candlekeep Mysteries, the Keys for the Golden Vault has like 1 or 2 high-level adventures. There's a new one coming out about the Infinite Staircase. That one might have some old stuff in there. Might be neat to look at. As for like official adventures, a lot of the older ones ended at like level 15, which is just getting into the end of tier 3. And then it's like, all right, well, beyond that, it's like you can take the adventure and you can run a level 20 game. And it's like, if you're running something like Tyranny of Dragons, and at level 15, you just fought Tiamat, what the fuck? What do you go beyond that? Do I fight 2 Tiamats?
Do I fight 2 Tiamats?
Yeah, seriously, like, what do I do after that? Or like, you have Dungeon of the Mad Mage, where that one, like, is, again, multiple different dungeons that you can either A, run the whole adventure front to back, which if you do that, you're a madman and good luck. Or B, you could just rip one of the dungeons out, throw it in your campaign, and it's like, man, oh, my player's supposed to run into a dungeon. I don't know what to do. Oh, I'll just use one of these. And they have one up from fucking high level, each level. But they're all so different, and they are challenging. Like, again, one of the things with Dungeon of the Mad Mage that I really enjoyed is that they do challenge the party, and some of the levels, like, there's a specific level, that has the players basically going in a death obstacle course against a death tyrant, which is like the, you know, the zombie, or not zombie beholder, but the undead beholder with the skull and all the laser like lights for eyes.
Yes.
And I forgot what level it is, but it's like the player should not be dealing with a death tyrant at this level. Like,
that's what I was just about to say, is like the little bit of high level adventure shit we do have, I feel like isn't even really throwing shit at the players that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even really in scenarios that they should be.
Right. Even now with the fucking what do you call it? The Planescape thing, where it's like, yeah, the players, they go from level 1 to 10 or whatever, and then randomly they jump to level
or 17
20 or something. Yeah, for their
they jump to 17.
Form.
And then you do 17 to 20 at the last little bit of it.
Yeah.
Planescape, it makes a little bit more sense because Planescape does have that crazy, like, interdimensional, over the top kind of thing going on. So that one, I get it a little bit more. But like, you know,
I think
it's like, especially we're talking post level 16. Yeah. I mean, the fact that spells like Gate exist, I think tell you what you need to know. They should be killing Devas and shit. Like that is, I mean, shit. Actually, Devas at level 16 is kind of a pussy. They're fighting Planetars at level 16.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that an official adventure is like fight a death tyrant. It's like okay.
Yeah.
What CR are those fuckers even?
14, I believe. No, higher than that.
I think a Beholder is 14.
Yeah, because Beholder is 14.
No, they're 14.
Oh, really?
15 encountered in the lair.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think all the messages and all the things over the years that people have been saying and asking, because I read a lot of this, and as someone who was a DM and a player who wants like more high level content from Wizards, I mostly am talking about like adventures, so I can learn as a DM to structure it. Like, who
that's
are the
not
people
what I want.
Who are making the game? What do they think high level adventuring is? And like, what can you learn from that? It's like there's been a couple of them that have been pretty like interesting. Like there's one Candlekeep Mysteries about the Druid Lich, and that is a really good like just little adventure, and it's like level 16 or 17. And even recently they came out with the Giant book. They came out with a level 16 adventure, and it's like, all right, giants, they fucking hit like a truck. So level 16, your players are beefier. So that should be decent. I haven't, fully read through it yet. It's like they're starting to like drip feed a little bit.
See, but that's not what I want at all. Because you're talking about high level content. I don't want high level content. I want high level guidance and high level mechanics.
Yeah,
I don't want.
I want that
content
too,
because the content.
I think looking from adventures, until Wizards puts that structure in a book, the best we can get is these adventures and learning from them.
You're not.
So I was just about to say that.
You're not wrong. It's just the fact that doing that, like, I shouldn't have to, because what you're saying, Matt, is basically reverse engineer the adventures to understand how the game should work. You shouldn't have to do that reverse engineering. The game should explain to you how to do the formula. You know what I mean? That'd be like if your math teacher's like, here's the problem, now solve it backwards. It's like, no, motherfucker, you're supposed to tell me how to solve the problem.
That's what they teach kids nowadays, huh?
No, it's not.
Well, so I was also about to say that, Matt, which is, yes, there should be a book of things that explain it to you. I 100% agree with that. But some people, mainly me, right? You can tell me what the formula is. I'm still going to struggle with it unless I see it done practically. So I think that high-level content will provide that practicality.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but there's no reason we can't do both.
Yeah, no, they're both.
What I'm saying is, I think it should be both. Yes, I think I would prefer to see it done practically first, and then give me the formula for it, so I can look at the practical application of it, and then see what parts I need, what parts that I don't need so much.
No, see, I think it should be done around. I think it should be done the other way. It should have been well explained in the DMG, and then we get the first adventure, and we can look at that first adventure and go, they're utilizing this thing they mentioned in the DMG and this thing they mentioned in the DMG. I should be able to look at it and see where they're pulling from.
Which hopefully
we got the literal opposite. We got the literal opposite because we got Tyranny of Dragon, or no, what was it? Horde of the Dragon Queen before the DMG.
Yeah.
So we got the literal opposite.
Yeah, I do agree. It was done in a wacky way. But I kind of meant like going forward.
I think going forward, the new DMG should give me that math. It should show. I want Wizards to show me their work.
I will also say too, in just as another example from Wizards, that I use a lot in my games currently and in the 3-year game. In Xanathar's guide, for different like biomes, they give you encounters, and they have it encounters by tier. And some of them are like, they're just monster fights. So it's like a desert encounter for level tier 4, 17 to 20. 1d3, 1d4 rocks, the bird.
I
Mummy Lord.
I assume you're just throwing 4 rocks at the players.
Yeah.
Just throw a boulder.
Just a whole ass boulder. 3 young blue dragons. And then they'll have like 1 or 2 random things where it's like an abandoned city made from white marble, empty by day, but at night, harmless apparitions roam the streets, replaying the final moments of their lives. It's like,
the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, that's kind of cool. I like that, but
I mean, that's a good prompt, but that doesn't tell me what to do. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's
doesn't
like,
tell me what to do.
That's a cool idea, but what do I do with that? Like, there's no, especially because you just say apparitions. Like, what kind of like, you couldn't even tell me like specifically what stat block or something. Like, goddamn.
Oh, well, that's why it's mostly these are random tables,
right?
But they're like mostly monster fights, and then they'll insert 1 or 2 like non-fights in here to like.
I don't mind the non-fights tables existing, but they should be their own thing, and they should be for a different purpose.
Yeah,
right? Like they should fill a different need.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's super weird. Like,
and I will look to like I mentioned a bunch of times throughout this show, Adventure League. Like they have a bunch of really good adventures of all sorts of tier, including some of the high level tier, which is honestly how I learned to make encounters for high level. That and what again, because I stole a lot from Critical Role for the ending of the 3-year game, but mostly I was looking at Adventure League, like the tier 4 adventures they would write. I'm like, what are they doing? How can I implement this? And I think one of the things I mentioned too in like one of the 3-year game episodes about the giant wall of sand that like did like fucking, I don't know, 10d10 slashing damage or some shit to a player. And I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot of damage. Fuck. Oh yeah, they're like 16th, 17th level. Yeah, I should be throwing like this, like, the math makes sense.
I think I just hit upon a realization in combination with what you were talking about and what I just said. I think one of the big issues that the 5e DMG has is that Wizards seem to be under this weird impression. Like when they first made 5e, I don't know if they necessarily still think this, but at the very least when they first made 5e, they seem to be under this impression that new DMs lack ideas. And that's the part that they have a hard time with. When I think in actuality, new DMs have just a metric fuckload of ideas. That's why they want a DM, because there's too many ideas bubbling around in their head. They just don't know how to implement them. But the book doesn't tell you how to implement them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's genuinely the issue, is like, they're like, oh, people need something to like get the juices flowing. It's like, no, motherfucker, I need to know how to put the juices in the blender.
I don't know. I like the inspiration stuff they put in there, but I would also.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be
more
there, but it's
shit like
yeah,
how to implement said stuff, and then a little sidebar of inspiration shit.
The inspiration shit's fine, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be there, but it's like the main crux of the book itself. It's like the majority of the book, which is such a weird. Although I think they have also admitted that they made the 5e DMG with the assumption that whoever is reading it already knows how to DM, which is weird.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before. I
don't understand.
It's weird coming from the like edition where they're like, we're trying to hook only new people, or mainly new people, because it's so like slimmed down. Like,
how do you come to? Well, they were trying to hook new people because they were running out of money. Yeah.
I meant like, but like, you know what I mean? We're like, this is the only version. Like they even said like recently where they had interviews with a lot of the people who were like, yeah, we're running out of money. This is going to be the last version of D&D, either because A, it's going to be so successful, we'll knock it out of the park, or B, our company's shutting down because we don't have enough money.
Matt, I'm pretty sure I was the one who told you that.
You said that, and then I ended up looking up a couple articles.
Okay, fair enough.
Talking, yeah.
So you had to make sure I wasn't lying to you.
No, because I heard the first part where there a lot of people were like, this is going to be the only edition of D&D left because it's amazing. And then when you were like,
oh yeah,
they might go bankrupt, I went back and looked.
Yeah,
and
it's a
few of the people that I heard from didn't mention the bankruptcy.
That second part, the really important second part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really funny to me that they came to this conclusion that, oh, the people reading, because like, think about this for a minute. They were like, oh yeah. So the guys who already know how to do the thing that we want them to do, they're the only people that are going to buy the advice book on how to do the thing. How does it make any sense? Like, oh, you've done this already. Here's the book to tell you how to do the thing you've done already. It's like someone who's like, yeah, I'm really, really good at cooking. So I bought this cookbook for beginners. Like, what?
Yeah, I really
like. There's in what scenario that why would you make the DMG be for people who already knew how to DM? They don't need the fucking DMG.
I know the reason why many reasons why they won't do this, but I still wish they would do what other game companies do and just have the 2 books. You have
the monster book and the rule book,
and
yeah. I mean, that's
like
a whole
looking
other can
at
of worms,
how like Pathfinder's done it, how MCDM is about to
doing
do
it. Yeah.
How Shadowrun. Fuck. Oh, I'm blanking on the other game.
Shadowrun only has 2 books though.
Shadowrun only has 2 books.
That's not what I'm sure that's not what you're thinking of, but Shadowrun does also only do 2.
I think something of the Shadow of the Demon Princess only has the 1 book.
Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Damn it.
Yes, it has 1 book.
Yeah, it only has 1 book. It's like crazy.
I like how you can never remember what that game's called.
I know. I just can't wait for Weird Wizard to come out. So
something Shadow Demon Dicks.
something complete.
Are you one of those people who like, I don't want to read Shadow of the Demon Lord. It's gross and icky.
I thought it was super cool.
Well, then what?
No, I actually thought I liked one of Mike Shea. He was talking about playing a game like Shadow of the Demon Lord with Rob Schwa, but there was a kid there, so he had to like look through his like lexicon of verbiage because a lot of his really gory shit, and he's got this like 7-year-old at the table, and he's just like, so when you cut the demon and it's splits open and fairy dust comes out. Damn it. You're ruining my game, kid. Get the fuck out of here.
Get lost, bitch. But, well then, wait, why are you waiting for Shadow of the Weird Wizard to play? Play Shadow of the Demon Lord. It's basically the same game.
I don't know. I just, new game, new updates. I figured he's just
new
updated
colors.
Everything. Yeah, basically new colors.
I mean, he's sort of updated things, but it's honestly, from the looks of it, it's mostly the same game.
Also, I like the acronym, Weird Wizard, like WW.
Fair enough. Guess I can't argue with that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would run Shadow of the Demon Lord, but I do kind of want to play it.
Why would you not want to run it?
I have no interest.
Yeah, but like, why though? That's what I'm asking.
Because if I'm gonna run like crazy kind of comedy grimdark, I'm just gonna run Wrath and Glory. Like, care about that more.
It's like a completely different.
What's the new game, the Maledictum.
I mean, I 40K, I get it, but like it's a completely different vibe.
It's really not though. It's.
I mean, it is though. Like,
well, it's not because it's grimdark and like.
Well, it's not really. Shadow of the Demon Lord is not. Shadow of the Demon Lord is like death metal dark, just to say it's sort of over the top, goofy, wah-wah.
Lots of like
style.
Imagine 10 Matt Mercers describing how you cut up the demon, like, his rib cage open, and you're like, oh,
Shadow of the
and
Demon
each
Lord's,
one's giving you a different, more gorier example, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but that's literally Wrath and Glory.
I mean, 40. I don't know. I mean, I guess
it was more like
I don't feel like
you gotta understand. There's
I wouldn't describe 40K as heavy metal.
Have you not seen the Noise
really?
Marines? Like,
no, I know they exist, but it's just not.
So here's the thing.
It's not how I would describe.
There are like different eras of 40K. There's like original 40K, which is like, lol, let's do some wacky woohoo bullshit a la Rogue Trader, and then it got even more wacky woohoo, and then for a few for a decade or two, it was like really dark and grim and depressing. And now we're seeing more of the wacky woohoo come back.
Yeah.
It started as wacky woohoo.
Here's my thing. I would describe Shadow of the Demon Lord as death metal, and I would describe Warhammer as grunge metal.
I don't know about that.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I would. Well, what about Alice in Chains? They're grunge metal. They're grunge and they're metal at the same time.
That kind of works. Yeah.
No, I still think I would call 40K like. You have the White Scars standing on top of motorcycles going 500 miles an hour while they fire fucking guns into the air and swing scimitars. Like,
yeah, but aesthetically,
the orcs.
Aesthetically, I feel like 40K feels much more about the grunge and much more about the like. I really think about I think about the aesthetic that like Darktide has, and it's about the dirt and the grime and the heavy machinery, you know. Which I feel like is sort of a different thing to the sort of black. What's that? What's it? Is it just called black metal?
There's black metal. There's death metal. There's
well, you got to
maybe, I guess
Darktide is very similar to Necromunda, where it's like it's the dark underhive and it's the fucking like shitholes. But that's not all of 40K. That's not even most of it. That's just that one thing.
It's I mean, most of what I have seen of 40K lines up in that.
How about
realm.
industrial metal? There you go, Josh. AC Rammstein.
That could
I
work,
would say Mechanicus is industrial metal for sure.
I feel like you saying that, I would just run Wrath and Glory instead. I just don't feel like these two games compare and to how they would be run.
The futuristic?
Totally. Well, I mean, the sci-fi is part of it, obviously, because the sci-fi is going to affect the sort of style of story you're going to tell. But they just don't, I just don't think they overlap in that way that much. Like,
well, fine. I guess.
I just don't see it. I just don't see. I mean, you could just say you like one over the other, but I don't see them overlapping that much. Other than they're both kind of edgy.
They sort of overlap for me, where they like the kind of part of my brain that they take up, and I would just rather run 40K. I'd play in Wrath of the Demon Lord, but like as far as running it goes, I'd rather run Wrath of the Glory. I feel like
it does sound super appealing as a DM because again, everybody levels up after every adventure, which only takes a session. There's only 10 levels, so it's fucking
lies.
Oh, is it lies?
I mean, it's not a okay. The game tells you everyone levels up after an adventure, and an adventure should only take a session and two. But if you go online and look up what anybody has said about the game, literally everyone on the planet is like, adventures never take a session or two. That's a fucking lie. It always takes way longer than the game claims. It's got the same problem D&D has, where you're like, this will take my players 2 sessions, and then it takes your players 6 sessions. Shadow of the Demon Lord has the exact same problem because nothing in that game mechanically actually speeds up gameplay. It has about the same pace as D&D. Listen, Rob, buddy, big fan.
Well, he used to work for Wizards.
Yes. Big fan, Rob, buddy, but you didn't add anything into the game to make the game go faster. Like, you tried, but you kind of didn't. Like, sorry.
You don't even think like the just 10 levels like help? Like overall campaign wise.
No, I mean, it helps in that you need less content to reach max level, kinda. But I'm not talking about over how long a campaign takes. I'm talking about just the overall flow of a session to session pace. The game is not any faster than D&D, but the game talks and pretends, it claims it's faster than D&D, but literally everyone's like, no, it's not. So,
right.
Because there's just because again, the mechanical basis of the game is very 5e. So it has the same things that slow down 5e. The one thing I noticed in it that actually generally felt like it kind of picked the pace up of the game overall was the initiative system, but not that much.
How do they do initiative?
There's fast and slow turns. Players always go first unless they're surprised. So players go. So basically what you do is players, my whole brain, I tried to do too many sentences at once. The round is split up into fast turns and slow turns. So everyone does their fast turns first, and then all the characters who are doing a slow turn do a slow turn. players always go first in that split though. So when you do, all right, everyone do your fast turns, the players do their fast turns, enemies do their fast turns. All right, everyone do slow turns, players do their slow turns, then enemies do their slow turns. That's all it is. And the difference between a slow and a fast turn is like, if the player is just going to attack the nearest enemy and not move or do anything else, that's a fast turn. If the player wants to move to an enemy and do something else, that's a slow turn. It's just shit like that. So that's a little bit quicker because like you can skip initiative rolls. You know exactly what the flow is. You know when the turn's over. It's a little bit faster, but not that much faster because you still got a bunch of wacky woohoo bullshit you can do on your turn. You know, so.
Yeah, actually, I just realized too, in all the UAs, we haven't gotten like how combat, like if they're going to change like initiative or anything. Oh, they're just not even going to.
I doubt it. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I fucking doubt it. If there's anything in 5e they ain't ever touching, is going to be combat. No way. I'll be shocked if they do. Flabbergasted.
5e2.
You know, like combat changes are 6th edition. Like that is a 6th edition amount of change. If you're gonna rework how combat works, there's no fucking way. I assume. Again, I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. You also have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind if you talk about fucking with the combat mechanics, the whole backwards compatibility thing might get a little sketchier.
True. So, well, I just meant more like switching up an initiative. Like I don't think changing initiative would really affect like the backwards compatibility of it.
Initiative changes probably won't, but other things could. It depends on what like what direction you do it from. There's like if you do it from a top down or a bottom up kind of perspective is what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. They might add, you know what they might add they might add some more optional combat rule stuff in the new DMG. That they might do.
That'd be cool. Yeah. My brain just went. Did you guys see the new monk? And basically they don't get the weapon masteries anymore.
Yeah, they took away the weapon masteries because everybody felt like it was kind of pointless, which I kind of agree with. It is pointless for monk to have. They already have all this other crap.
I kind of like
need
it
weapon
though.
Masteries.
Wow, I really don't like that. I didn't see that, and I hate it.
I kind of wish they could just use them like on their fists.
So here's the thing:
they kind of can now, Matt, because they gave them a bunch. They gave them like you can use your key stuff more.
True, you can
like
use
Step of the Wind for free,
more.
and Flurry of Blows being its own.
Well, I meant just like the weapon mastery properties, like
I think
the bludgeoning ones.
Monks don't get weapon masteries at all.
Not anymore.
Oh.
No,
that's so fucking stupid.
But I think they talked about give them weapon masteries type stuff
later,
or making feats that do something like that for the monk, something along those lines.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I get it. Like, I understand what they're trying to say of like, we're going to give them.
It wasn't them. It was people who did the survey basically felt like monk got overbloated because having to worry about weapon mastery and the stuff you can do with your discipline points and sort of bouncing between the two, people felt like it got kind of bloated, especially because the monk utilizes their bonus action for a whole bunch of shit already. And now they're going to utilize it more because now you could do things like dash, bonus action attack, which you couldn't do before. Now you could do Step of the Wind for free. Now you can do patient defense for free, Yeah,
like the new like the playtest 8, I think.
Yeah.
Like is better.
I'm way
sad
better.
that we lost it's way better. I'm sad we lost weapon masteries, and I would like it to see it come back at some point for the monk, but like the fact that now like, every combat now monks just get all their key points back. It's fucking
no. What?
Yeah.
That's not. What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, they have that new second level ability where it's like at the start of every combat you gain. I don't remember. I gotta pull up the PDF, but you basically get like the majority of your key points back for combat, and it's like, oh, that's sick. And the higher level you get, the more key you get. So like at level 20, you basically just get all your fucking key points back.
I think you're misremembering something, Max. I don't remember anything about them getting their key back.
Uncanny metabolism. When you roll initiative, you can regain all expended discipline points. When you do so, roll your martial arts die, regain a number equal to your monk level plus the number rolled.
Oh, it's a roll. Okay.
Yeah, it's a roll plus your monk level. It's once per long rest, but like that's...
Oh, once per long rest. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so fucking good.
That's kind of funny, though, because they're now also going to be using their key points less often.
I just feel like I'm still not over this. Like...
Sorry, this is a random tangent. I just thought it was like, oh,
no, it's fine. It's just, it's killing me because it's like, I don't remember what I said this for. I said this somewhere along the line in one of the episodes where it's like, don't take the options away. Give players the option not to use them. You know?
I mean, no, I completely disagree.
Well, because like it's, if you have them there, right? And a player wants to use them, or has found out a way to use them and make them work well, good. But if you like, oh, I was talking about the Midgard, like basically the weapon masteries, right?
Mm.
The option is there. My players have him. They never use them, and they probably should because they're really good. But like, they're there because if a player wants to use them and has found an interesting way of changing up the flow of things, and chooses to use those to do so. Good. Like, by taking it away, you're just like completely removing an avenue of changing things up. And considering that they're a fighter class or they're a warrior class, in fact, or
that
they're not. No, they're right. They're an expert now.
No, that distinction's gone.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Oh, did they? Well,
yeah, because they weren't using it for anything.
So they were just we have this neat table to break up the classes. Okay, but why?
Honestly, no, I thought it was great. It was really good because it added an extra level of modularity that could have been fantastic.
It's only good if they actually used it, but they didn't.
That's the thing.
No, but but that's not the function's fault. Like,
no, but I think they must have done some kind of internal testing and came to the conclusion that they weren't getting any benefit out of it.
It was the same way with the. Yeah, instead of having now the 3 different spell,
the stuff too,
rules or whatever, now it's just so now everyone's getting their levels again.
That one was getting messy quick.
It was getting so fucking
That one you could tell when you looked at the bard, it was like, oh yeah, this is getting messy really fast. I can see why they dropped it.
I think I remember saying that too. Like I like each class having their own spell list because it kept things organized. And like seeing the 3 different lists, I like the labeling of them.
I still find I'm not a fan of class-based spell lists, but to change it would require too big of an overhaul right now. And if we're not doing a 6E overhaul, then I get it.
In this economy,
right? It's like if you're doing a 6E overhaul, I would consider re-looking at how spells are divvied and shit. But yeah. No.
I'm just gonna mauled about this, I guess. I'm fucking so mad.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. I don't agree with you at all. Like,
that's fine. I don't care. I think I like them, and I think they should have kept them.
Wait, are you talking about the monk situation? Are you talking about the monk situation or the spell?
No, the monk situation.
Oh,
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because it has nothing to do with anything right now. So
yeah, later.
No, I mean, I just wow, that's
episode 2.
Really annoying. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Matt, I liked the monk originally. Everyone else, boo.
I mean, I think the monk we got now is exponentially better.
All right.
I would definitely prefer to have what we currently have over the old monk.
I'd have to see it, but I'm gonna.
No, you're not. They basically gave them more shit across the board. You're absolutely not going to be mad. Other than the weapon mastery thing, they gave them more stuff.
I know. That might just fucking taint the pot, though.
That one little thing, sir.
Did you forget that it was like my favorite thing about
but Barbarian and Fighter and Rogue still all have it? Ranger.
I think Rogues gets...
I don't remember if Rogues get them or not, but I know Barbarian, Fighter, and Ranger have them. And they're not... They're not like removing the mechanic; they're actually tweaking that mechanic. Also, there's also a degree of it might be Paladins, yeah. There's also a degree of niche protection there, where if you hand out the weapon mastery thing too much, it's going to start to feel weird. If it's like everyone gets weapon mastery, you know what I mean?
maybe if the Kensei monk is in the
they could give it
new player handbook as like the 4th monk archetype, then I can see that.
I think they also mentioned feats that will grant weapon masteries.
Okay.
So
because again, like daggers can be a monk weapon and all that shit. Yeah. So
it's definitely not like an unobtainable thing. It's just not in the base class.
I know but it's one of the few things that I thought I genuinely think should be in the base. You're a monk, like as much as they try, you cannot completely decouple monk from like the Shaolin origins, right?
They're trying.
Like, yeah, but you can't. Like not completely. Anyway, back to fucking.
I agree. I don't like it, but they're doing it. They're like, nope, we don't want to have the Eastern feel to it. And it's like, but why?
I mean, I think you can, but I'm not gonna go on this one.
I didn't say it was impossible. I'm just saying you can't completely do it. I don't think it's possible.
That's saying it's impossible.
I suppose what I meant to say is
said,
you can
I don't think it's impossible, but you can't completely do
it. What I meant to say was I think you can make some distinction, but to do it completely is impossible.
Mm.
If it's still called monk, it's not really possible.
Well, yeah, that would be step 1. Don't call it monk anymore.
Call it brawler or something.
Call it like martial artist.
Yeah, martial arts. Yeah.
Even that's way too close.
No, it's not. There's a bazillion different kinds of martial arts out there. Martial arts covers everything to barroom brawls to kung fu.
I think the cultural implications would still keep it. Anyway, high level play.
Yeah. God. Sorry about that tangent, folks.
Sorry for me malding.
No, you're good, man.
If you're wondering,
and then
if you're wondering why we don't talk about the playtest much anymore, this is why.
Yeah, we got salty on it.
I'm not salty.
Mixed bag.
I'm usually not salty, but there are a few things that get me really salty.
No, I'm just saying in general, like we all like get like a mixed bag of like, ooh, I like this, or ooh, this, salty. Anyways, what was the last? God, I'm gonna go back to the non-supporting from the fucking gatekeepers of Dungeons and Dragons themselves. Yeah, a lot of people also make third-party content for high-level play. Not a lot. Like you'll see these in other games like Cobalt Press or Grim Hollow. Not the people who make Grim Hollow. I'm like on their name. I feel so bad now. Ghostfire Gaming. Thank you. Like they have a couple of like anthology books as well, and they'll throw in like one level 20 adventure in there, just because there are more people playing level 20 than playing level 19. Oh, there's a percentage. People are playing that level. And I think it's better for one-shots, but yeah, no, I want more like Eva Vecna. Like, I want to see, I agree there should be more structural things in the DMG, and hopefully, knock on wood, we get that shit. But I'm hoping Eva Vecna will be like hey kids, here's a fucking like high-level adventure, like actual, like, I don't know, maybe crazy idea. They start from 16 level and go to 20. And it's like, hey, did you just fought Tiamat, the dragon god? Oh, you know what'd be even crazier if you fought Vecna to save the multiverse or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh, neat, wizards. I'm totally on board. Instead of whatever you're probably going to do. I'm a little miffed.
No, it's fine because
I know it's gonna happen. I know it's. I'm worried that it's going. The Vecna book is just going to be the Planescape thing where it's a level 1 to 10 and then hard jump cut to 20 or some shit.
Well, here's the thing about the hard jump cut. The hard jump cut is a good idea right now only because the level curve and how long it takes to get to level 20 is so fucking ass. So doing the hard jump cut is a good way to sort of put a band-aid on the problem, right? You're treating the symptom, but you're definitely not treating the cause, because the cause is that the level and progression curve and the speed at which people play needs to be looked at, but isn't because again, that sort of requires a ground up rework. So they're like, instead of dealing with that right now, because we can't fix that problem in an adventure, we're just going to jump a few levels because that sort of fixes that problem temporarily.
Yeah.
So the jump cut is
massive. Fine. It's a massive, like, why not?
It is a massive
levels
jump cut.
Instead of being like from 1 to 10, you go, you start level 1, then, the next chapter is like level 3. And the next chapter,
you're
space
it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
There is, I believe, an in-lore reason for it in the Planescape Adventure, which I won't say because spoilies, but there does appear to be an in-lore reason for it, so there's some justification. But in terms of player comfortableness, it's definitely. Like, there's definitely going to be some players that go from level 12 to level 17, and suddenly they have to add a whole bunch of new shit to their sheet and are going to, like, have a heart attack and be like, I'm gonna do something else.
I will just say, as someone who has, been DMing for a bit, at higher levels, players don't keep track of shit.
Yeah.
When it comes to their
my players
items.
do, but a lot of players don't.
Yeah. So, like, once you hit level 20, you're just like, I think I still have one of those grenades from that, like, that weird steampunk gnome we killed. The one who was trying to make a phylactery out of a bunch of gears and shit. I think I, like, heisted his thing. I probably have a grenade, right, DM? Yeah, sure, I guess. Fucking, why not?
Actually, it's funny. You know what? I said that my players keep track of their shit, and then I remembered that there's a particular magic item that I gave all of them that they have not used once that would have been probably pretty useful a couple of times.
Yeah, that happens.
The amulet? No, we have them, but
nobody's used them.
I mean, we haven't. At least I have not been in a position.
You throw a monster at them that only can be defeated by using the amulet.
Well, the amulets give them ability to cast Turn Undead basically on the fiends they're fighting, so it would have been useful a couple of times, but none of them have done it. So
What do they look like? A bunch of clerics?
I mean, no, but I gave them Turn Undead, sorta. Turn Fiend. I think there was something else too that there was a different.
I didn't forget. I haven't found. I hadn't thought of a situation where I thought it would have been useful.
Isaiah's like, I can't make this into mustard gas yet.
I've seen. I mean, I don't know. I've seen a couple scenarios where I feel like the amulet would have been useful.
I shaved the filing down.
I mean, there is also a reason for you guys to hold on to them, though. So, it's not entirely detrimental.
Can I like sharpen the amulet into an arrowhead to make an arrow of undead slaying?
It's magical.
One time use. Damn it.
It also doesn't kill undead. It's not for that.
What if I ask real nicely?
No, because it's still not for undead.
If I wanted to be a total bastard, I could just fucking make a bunch of the glyphs of warding. And just make a bunch of detonation glyphs and put them in the bag of holding, and then fucking yeet them bitches at people like grenades.
Have to put that on an object.
Does that shit work?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they didn't work with glyphs of warding because like the whole movement nonsense.
Well, if you put them in the bag is not.
Oh, it doesn't count.
No, because it's a different dimensional space.
The
second you take them out of the bag, they fucking will explode.
I put a cannon in the bag of holding, and I filled the cannon with all these glyphs of warding. Now, when I open the bag, it just basically is a mega laser beam.
You could have some interesting effects if you did the glyph of warding, right? And then if you use time stop and did the Dio thing where you just fire a bunch of like glyphed arrowheads in the time, like the stop time, and then you just walked away, because the second the time would start to go again, they would all detonate, but they'd have the force of a projectile. So you're just shooting torrents of fucking flame at people. That's some wacky bullshit I'd come up with.
Yeah.
Kind of want to do that now, actually.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
God damn, I keep losing my thought. train of thought. Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Again, getting up at 4 a.m. is not good for Matt.
Has been nice. Got it.
With the third party people making more shit. Yeah, again, Eva Ruin. Hopefully, we will see.
I'm not holding out.
Again, there are good high level content from Wizards of the Coast. They're just very sparse.
I ain't holding out hope on that one. But I also, the fact we have to rely on third parties for this kind of shit kind of blows.
Yeah.
Fucking c'est la vie, I guess.
I guess like just for the last kind of point, just for people out there, kind of like who are also running high level games or thinking about it. What do you guys think is like the most important thing for like as a DM trying to come up with adventures and stuff for high level games? Like what are we supposed to do? Do we do the like I throw bigger monsters at them so they throw bigger numbers? Are they supposed to be dimension hopping, god smacking, demon banging, like multiverse nonsense?
I mean, there's kind of two different questions here.
Yeah.
Because what are you supposed to do mechanically? And then what are you supposed to do fictionally? Kind of, they're interrelated, but they're also kind of two different questions. So like, because
I guess mechanically and then fictionally.
Mechanically, I mean, yeah, like obviously throw bigger shit. Duh. Also mechanically, I think at higher level, it can be a fun thing to throw. Basically, so like when they're like level 20, for example, when I'm looking through monsters, if I see a monster that's like CR 8, that's a minion, right? Like my player's at level 20, that's a minion. A dude with 120 health, nah, that's just a minion now, right? So it can be particularly fun to throw a lot of like mid CR shit at the high level players so that they can dunk on those nerds that used to be a problem.
You can have the Lord of the Rings and the big battle, Legolas fucking killing an elephant and shit.
Yeah, like, I mean, I threw fucking like 4 Tanarooks at them at one point, so like, and then when you're dealing with like actual monsters that are within their threat range and stuff, yeah, just don't give a fuck. Just if you look at something and go, I don't know, that ability seems kind of mean. No, it's probably not mean enough. Just throw it at them. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine. Like, it is so rare that they're not fine,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, when it comes to dealing with mechanical shit, just go ballistic. Look at something and go, man, 10d10 damage is kind of a lot. What if I made it 15d10? I like that number better. Like, just keep adding numbers because they'll still probably be fine, even if you keep adding numbers. Because there's still the element of randomness, and B, there's 4 of them, and C, they're gonna have something to deal with the problem because they always pretty much fucking do. Give or take, bar a couple of very niche scenarios.
It was like when I did with the Death Knights. I'm just like, just one per player. That makes sense. Exactly.
1 Death Knight per player. Exactly. It's literally that. 1 Death Knight per player. They'll be fine. Like, it really is that kind of shit.
And like 2 of the Death Knights took the other 2 out anyway, so it's like, all right, fucking.
But like,
kamikaze Death Knight.
I think the mechanical stuff is not secondary, but your fictional decisions will help to inform your mechanical ones. So I think the thing to keep in mind is you need to design scenarios that the masters of the universe would reasonably be dealing with and fighting. I think that you have to make sure that the fiction that's going on makes sense for these level of characters to be when Hercules had the lion mane and his fucking sword and he was a demigod, he wasn't like beating up street thugs anymore because he's fucking Hercules. He's got more important things to do, right? Your players become Hercules at this point. They need to be dealing with Herculean problems. So don't be like, oh, the local hobgoblin gang is like threatening the town, that's not level 20 player problems, right? You need to be like, this entire country is going to be destroyed because Orcus is going to show up. That's level 20 type problems, And then once you've decided on what the fictional problem is going to be, that will then inform your mechanical design. The one will flow from the other. So you go, okay, Orcus is going to show up. What kind of crazy monsters and shit can I throw in that would be related to Orcus? Bing, bang, boom. Orcus has some Death Knight followers or some shit. The players fight 4 Death Knights, like whatever. I think that's one of the most important things. And also fictionally make sure that your players are being acknowledged as high-level characters, right? When your players are level 20, they've likely gotten to that point doing a bunch of crazy shit. Don't have all the NPCs treat them like they're still just killing rats in a basement type characters, because they're not. The king should treat the PCs with respect and be like, thank you for saving the city, because you've probably done it 8 times at this point. All of the local populace have probably heard of the characters. The people around should have a certain degree of reverence for them. They should be known quantities, right? If the president walks through your town, you don't just casually look at him and go, who the fuck's that dude in the suit? You go, oh shit, the president is walking through my town. That's kind of crazy, right? That's how that should be treated fictionally, because it's basically what they are, Unless you somehow are in some sort of weird narrative where everything the players did was somehow not known. If it's a Persona 3 situation where they fought all of the shit they fought in an extra dimension, so nobody actually knows it's happening. Maybe then that might be different, but generally for the most part,
players just come back from wild space. They're like, we just saved the universe. Yeah. And it's like, a what?
Yeah, maybe in that scenario, but generally for the most part, it should be a scenario where the players are treated with this crazy demigod reverence.
Yeah.
So I had a few thoughts on this. And they're sort of in relation to what Josh said, but you're probably not being mean enough. You are innately fighting an uphill battle.
Yes.
So I think that your thought process as the DMing for epic level, has to shift from how do I challenge them to how do I make this interesting? Because unless you throw some crazy shit at them every 2 seconds, you're not going to challenge them. You just got to hold that. You know what I mean? Well, epic level, they could wish your bad guy out of existence if they wanted to.
Well, yes, because the thing is, you have to keep in mind that the game is balanced in such a way that the combat, and when I say combat in this case, I don't literally just mean mechanical combat, but the struggle between good and evil is not 50-50. Because if it was 50-50, that means your players would be dying or losing half of the time. And that would not be a very fun game, obviously. So you have to realize that the way that the struggle is designed is for the stuff that you are doing as the GM to be an uphill battle, because the players are supposed to win most of the time.
Yeah. Remember, a deadly encounter only means a player
One
goes
PC
unconscious.
goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Going off that, I think, in the vein of try to keep things interesting. If you're like, I don't know what to throw at my players, right? Similar to what Josh said, right? Keep track of the lower level CR. Don't just throw them out the window, because more often than not, those are the monsters that have the most work put into them, right? Obviously, you get some stuff nowadays, but aboliths have a lot of crazy shit they can do, despite only being CR 12. Beholders have some cool shit they can do in their lair, and that's, CR 14. Keep track of those things and incorporate the lower level CR abilities into your higher level creatures, because it forces players to keep thinking, right? You don't want them to just, well, I have my bread and butters now, I don't have to think anymore. A lot of players will want to do that. I'm one of them, but don't make them do fucking advanced calculus and have to plan 5 steps ahead, unless your players want that. It's fucking, but encourage them to think, knowing that almost nothing you throw at them will have them genuinely sweating unless you plan something out really well, which you can do. I'm not saying you can't, but you're almost certainly not going to do it every time they're in combat, because that's a lot of like
not high level
intense creativity that you have to like. That's not even creativity. That's a lot of time you have to put to building every single encounter. Yeah. Understand that you're fighting a losing battle. Give in to the not even to the give in to the chaos. Just let it happen. You know. Don't be too noodly on the rules, because at that point, at that level, your players will have so many options to get the thing they want to get done, that you fighting them on it tooth and nail will just lead to someone going, all right, well, I have this ability that lets me do this thing. And then you've just wasted 20 minutes when the result ends up the exact same. Save yourself the headache, save everybody the tension. Obviously, if you're like, I wish to punch God in the mouth, and you're like, all right, bud, you got gate or divine intervention or some stuff, you can still give them, not even a hard time, but you can challenge. But simple stuff, just they're fucking epic level. Who cares? There's no use fighting it every 2 seconds.
I will say, if you do a good way to also a good way to come up with a threat for high level players is not to threaten the players, but to threaten things around the players.
NPCs,
NPCs, friends, items. World around them, items, like shit they get, other shit they give us back. Like, sure, the players are really hard to kill at level 20, but their neighbor who's a commoner ain't.
Oh no, they awoke the ancient rust dragon. Fuck.
Yeah, so it's like, that's another good way to do it, is to threaten stuff around them, so that they the challenge goes from where at low level where the challenge is we need to survive, at higher level the challenge is we have to protect everything, because by high level they've probably built up attachment to a lot of different things, and they have now interacted with all sorts of people and places and shit. So now it's like, oh, now we have to protect all the shit we interacted with, because in a very much in kind of a superhero way, player characters end up often putting a lot of other people in danger simply by interacting with them.
Yeah. Actually, I think kind of going back with the difference between mechanically and fictionally, it kind of ties into my last big point, where it's like, so like, does every campaign, like when you're playing in those high level games, is it always a world-ending threat? Like, as whatever they're being opposed by, how would you, like, if you're like, man, I'm gonna run a campaign, because you hear stories about, like, I fucking read this guy started a campaign at level 20 and they've been going on, and now and this is 5e, and they're at level 30.
Bro,
like imaginary, like they're level 30, but every they're using the DMG thing of every time they get a thing, they get an epic boon or whatever the fuck. Oh my
god, it's
like, how?
Absolutely.
What are you doing?
Never. Bro.
It's like at level 20, you're like, again, level, like tier 4, like once you hit that 15, 16 level, your players are basically demigods.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once you hit like level 20, it's like the next step is the whole like Bane Ball Merkel.
Yeah. Okay. Let's becoming the dead 3.
Let's become a god.
Yeah.
That's like beyond that, like the fuck.
That's insane. I really can't. Yeah. I started the campaign at level 20. Now we're level 30. I'm sorry. What, dude?
It does actually. I don't know. That sounds interesting to me. I know.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's like,
it might be interesting. I don't know how the fuck I could never.
How do you
deal
manage?
With that.
Like, how do you besides again constant world-ending threats? Like, what adventures are you doing?
Yeah.
Is it like, there's there's Lich's phylactery somewhere buried in this dungeon we just found. And it's like, okay, cool. I wish the phylactery was in my hand.
Yeah.
Neat.
Like, I wish the Lich went away.
All right, DM, I'm going to cast Earthquake, so I'm going to cave in the entire dungeon, and then I'm going to use Control Earth to dig the phylactery.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
I'm also going to cast Summon Elemental at 9th level to get 8 Earth Elementals, so they can just dig for it.
That's all right. That's a different can of worms. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. In terms of what you first said, does it have to be a world-ending thing every time? I I want to say no, but like I think it has to be. Yeah, I just
because like most campaigns, like again, most
I just
people
don't
when they play the end of the campaign is level 20, and from what I thought and from what I looked up, a lot of people like, you know, the end fight is at level 19, 20, or you know what have you, and then campaign ends. They don't really adventure that much beyond that.
Well, I just don't see the thing about the types of monsters that you're going to be fighting in 5e at high level. There's just no justification for them existing unless there's no reason for Yenagu to show up unless it's a world-ending situation. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. I don't want every campaign to have to get to that point, but if you're playing 5e, I'm like, I don't see how you could avoid it. I really don't.
Also, I think they would have to start taking the superhero route, right? You'd have to turn into the Superman. Who's like
already.
No, but not in just the like I have to fight Doomsday. It's like a tropical storm on the other side of the Sword Coast is causing a tsunami. You need to save the town. Where you basically go around and dealing with not just like supernatural disasters, but natural disasters, right? It's like, well, there's like a dragon turtle that's come into the coast because of the current change, and it's destroying a bunch of these like ships. But we can't kill the dragon turtle, because if we kill the dragon turtle, this other threat in the ocean will go out, like, you know, the fucking, I don't know. What are the big fish things?
Fish things.
The scabbers. I guess those are like aliens. The giant like universe hopping sharks.
I have no fucking what you're talking about.
They're big fucking sharks.
Sure.
It's like, well, if the dragon turtle dies, then it can't eat the scabbers, so we need to make sure it's alive. You have to be doing stuff like that, like X-Men shit.
But Isaiah, that kind of what you just described kind of are world-ending calamity type situations.
Well, world-ending to like a peasant.
Well, world-ending to a small section of the world.
I mean, I like the idea of treating it like the superhero, but like I'm even just thinking like back all the Marvel movies. How many Marvel movies were world-ending threats until we got to Thanos and it was a universe-ending threat?
Well, yeah. Like, I mean,
realistically,
majority
not that many.
of them.
I mean,
really?
No. Well, because all right.
Hold on.
Iron Man 1 and 2.
Wait. Pause. Because I think we're using the definition differently here. I think we should specify, because I think me and Matt, when we're using the term world ending, we probably shouldn't say world ending, because it's not about literally the world, but the immediate world, quote unquote, around the players ending is what I think is what me and Matt, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of had both, to be honest, because like it's around the immediate players, but like, again, if Thanos is going to snap the Earth.
Well, we're not talking about Thanos.
Your players are, well, I'm just saying, like, all right, let's.
Like, I'm saying a little small. I'm talking
the space lich is going to activate a nuclear bomb to destroy the planet.
Right,
specifically targeting your town.
But that wouldn't destroy
first.
the planet, right? That would destroy a chunk of the Earth where the players exist. That's the kind of thing I'm talking. Like, when I say world ending, I really mean like the end of Suicide Squad level. Not literally the entire planet explodes, but like a huge calamity in the little zone of existence that the players exist in. Like, my game is not world ending, but if the players were to fail, the place where the players live and a huge amount of people are all gonna die horribly, but like the rest of the planet's probably fine. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, there's no way for it. There's no way to. So like you saying the tsunami thing, Isaiah, that still is under the like world ending umbrella for me. And even though it's not literally the whole world, you know what I mean? So I don't know what.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I to me, it's a little bit lower on the scale, right? Like,
I don't know what a better phrase.
Volcano is erupting. We save the small village. That's what you can be doing at level 20,
right?
And you can be doing that reasonably commonly.
That's still a big calamity.
Oh, well, all right. So there's about like nation or statewide, if like disasters, and then world ending.
Your goblin slaying at level 4 is the like, hey, Waterdeep's going through a crazy drought. What's going on upriver? And then you find out that like I don't know, a bunch of gnolls through a big ass rave, and it's not even the gnolls you have to deal with. It's like the Sibriux that they summoned because they thought it was funny while smashing some kegs with the boys. You know what I mean? Like,
how about I phrase it this way? I don't think there's any way to play high level 5e without all of the problems being calamity level events. Let me phrase it that way. And calamity,
I can see that, 'cause
calamity meaning like wipe out this chunk of this, like wipe out this city, wipe out this part of a nation, maybe dismantle a country, right? Like big calamity type shit. I don't think you could do high level 5e without getting some sort of calamity level nonsense. Like you're not doing. You can't do Spider-Man style friendly neighborhood jaunts at level 20, like at high level D&D. Yeah. That's just not happening.
You gotta treat it like the first two Avenger movie. Oh, I get. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The first two like the first movies. Two Avenger movies. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like Ultron and Loki. Like that's about as low as you're gonna get. I feel like in high level D&D.
So I mainly agree. I think you can bring it a little bit lower in the disaster scale, but yeah.
There's a tsunami thing. I actually thought, because I immediately, like, when you said Lion Turtle, I'm like, oh yeah, Avatar. Fucking, that's basically what Roku was doing the entire time. He was just superheroing it up until he died.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring it a little lower. The thing is, if you start bringing it any lower, then you're gonna look at all these crazy high CR stat blocks and shit you have and go, I can't use any of this. You know, like the event has to be suitably big enough to justify, you know, summoning Yanogu or summoning the Sibriux.
Well, you can have like
fighting a dragon, right? Like there's got to be a big enough event for that to make sense.
Well, so you can have a big adventure where like, what if there are 6 different cults and each one summons a demon prince, or like you have like,
right,
you know, there's something going on.
Summoning a demon prince is calamity level shit.
Yeah, or you know, some nonsense where it's like, oh, the planets are aligning, unlocking these portals that will activate and summon the scions of all these giants, and now you can use the new giant.
That's still calamity level shit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe, yeah, calamity. It is not like world ending.
Well, I said that's
what he said.
I said I rolled it. I rolled it back slightly to calamity level, not necessarily world ending.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you can't like the example of the volcano is going off. It's like, okay, sure, the players can deal with that, but you're not going to be like, the volcano's going off. Also, there's an elder brain in the volcano. Like, huh? You know what I mean? Like,
a lava elder
it's really
brain.
hard.
You'd have to shift the focus.
It's hard to justify
fighting. No, I don't think it. So that's what I'm saying is that it's not really. You just have to you have to figure out, which I don't think is particularly hard, how to shift it from your fighting things to your solving problems.
Sure.
I know it's a game about fighting, but there are things you can do that are fighting adjacent that allows people like the barbarian to fill that role, right? If the barbarian has to like rage and chop a massive boulder that's rolling down the mountain in half, barbarian get to swing axe, barbarian feel good, barbarian also do good thing, make him feel even more good. You know what I mean? Like, or if he has to like defend from like raining fucking molten rock, and it's like, oh, you need to save the small family, and the barbarian runs up and rages and takes all the damage, and you're like, haha, I'm fine because I'm in the fucking mid triple digits health now as a level 20 barbarian, you know?
But
or like the wizard can fucking earthquake the side of the volcano and make it blow out towards the ocean, you know, like.
Yeah, but you can only do that shit for so long. The problem is that you can only, like, yeah, you can shift from not fighting to doing other kind of, like, big heroic things, but you can only really do that for so long. It'll get annoying eventually. The players are going to want to, like, fight something because they're going to look at all these fighting abilities on their character sheet and be like, I want to hit thing. But also, B, it's like the idea of the barbarian saves the city from the volcano is going to be like, you know, a 1 hour event because it doesn't have the granularity of combat, right? It's like you'll probably be able to resolve it relatively quickly. So it's like how many of those things can you keep doing till a certain point where it just kind of gets like monotonous?
I think you're kind of underplaying it because you have to think the players have plane shift, right? They're not locked. If you're level 20, you're not locked to the Sword Coast.
Yeah.
If your players want, they can go to Chult, and you can basically, because The Sword Coast might have a very limited supply of natural disaster level threats going on at any given time. But if you multiply that by everywhere in Faerun and everywhere in the Planescape and beyond, you have infinite shit you can do.
I'm not saying you're going to run out of stuff. I'm saying it's going to get monotonous.
Well, that's when you can start, like, if there's a whole thing where it's like, oh, you need to do the, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another big one, like, it's like Meteor Strike is gonna, like a tornado, and then you find out it's like a fragment of the Elder Tempest, then you can go fight that, right? You do the, like, superhero save the city, and then it's like, this is the work of Darkseid, and you fly off into space to fight it. You can, like, I'm not saying you can do it indefinitely, surely not, but
right, well,
you are able to.
That was kind of the question. Can you do it? You can't indefinitely. So no, I think is the conclusion we're coming to.
I didn't really think about it in terms of indefinitely, but I don't think there's like a common consensus that once you hit level 20, you sort of have to fast track it to the end before you run out of shit you can do.
Well,
which is a little more true for me because there's no magic, but like,
what Matt asked specifically is, can you run high level adventure stuff without it being this like world ending, or like without it being these crazy calamity events? And it seems to be like we're coming to the conclusion that no, like you're gonna have to go there eventually. Like you can't avoid it.
Well, eventually, like, yes, you do at some point have to hit a calamity level event. What I'm saying is that they do not need to all be calamity level events. You can dial it back quite easily and do it for a while, and then another calamity level threat comes up, and then you scale it back down, and then you come back up. Like, and there are going to be some things. Sorry, one sec, Matt. There are going to be some things that your players, if they want to keep that level 20 gameplay and you're cool with it, there's going to be some shit that they're just going to curb stomp, right? Like, that's what's cool about being Superman, is that you can just kick shit's ass and not have to worry about it.
See,
I guess
my problem is I don't find that just sounds totally not interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, you could also do like the Garrett Gygax things and just throw your players in dungeons, and actually have the dungeons be like challenging to the players. And it's like, we're trapped in the dungeon. Well, I'll just teleport us out. Oh, it's an anti-teleporting dungeon. Oh, well, I'll just cast Gate and I'll let us leave out that. You can't do that either. Look.
Well, that I think you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please
continue.
No, I was going to say it might be, I get the point where it might be annoying because then the players are like, you DM's just changing the rules because he doesn't want us to do this stuff. And it's like, well, there's a precedent for that already in a lot of 5e books.
There's a precedent, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good one.
Yeah, but if it works, it works, man. Like,
well, so what I was going to say is, yes, there is precedent for it, right? But that is something that I think lacks a little bit more longevity. Because if every time they have to do something, you're just going to take their shit away, then they're like, well, what the fuck is the point? Whereas if you do the like, oh no, the volcano's erupting, the players have full use of their abilities. Even people like the fighter, right? Where it's like, oh, but all I can do is fight. It's like, well, not necessarily, right? Like, if you're, for example, a battle master and you have Commander Strike, you can use Commander Strike to like allow another, like the wizard to cast another spell, for example. I don't know if you can do spells specifically, but like stuff like that. You as the fighter, or you as like the ranger, can call a bunch of like wilderness animals to come pick up the civilians and run away with them, and then you can be like, oh, I know this area, so I can track our way out of this. And the druid could just reasonably stop the volcano for like, at least you can be like, well, yeah, you can stop it for a little while, but it is still a force of nature on the planet. You're a druid at level 20, but you're not a god yet. You still have to at some point submit to the planet. You know, there's a lot you can do with that.
Yeah, God, I just zero interest.
Like, you might think it's boring. Fair enough. I'm not going to say.
I think that's just the conclusion I'm coming to. Is like I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, nah, I just don't want it.
It'd be interesting, but like I
would want to play that for sure.
Yeah, like I would like to play like if it was like a mini campaign. Like I couldn't see it going past like a few months. Like I couldn't see a level 20 campaign going
super
an
long
entire
into
year.
It. Yeah.
Let alone whatever the fuck that guy, one guy on Reddit, like level 30 at this point.
Yeah, see, that one dude on Reddit, that sounds like hell to me. It just sounds like hell.
I'm not saying that I would want it to go that, but like, even if it went 6 months, right? That's 24 sessions?
That's a
good
decent
length.
Yeah.
I mean, I also, like, give me a fucking, I mean, maybe if there's an end goal, that would help.
I don't think I think genuinely, the whole point of the campaign is we're level 20 and we don't know what to do about it, you know? And you just kind of, because it's like those characters don't just, like, I hate when they just become NPCs and then they don't do anything anymore, right? And then they like, everyone always, and you've said this yourself, right? If you're level 20, what are you doing right now? And it's like, hey, bud, we need you to go stop the, like, army of orcs. And it's like, well, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you dealing with the fucking Tarrasque right now? Do you want to take my job, buddy boy? All right, fine, do that then. And they're like, whoa, Tarrasque, pause. I can take the orcs, actually. And like, yeah, that's what I thought. You know what I mean?
Like, right now, my astral self is fighting a horde of demons in space to try and protect this planet. And right now, I'm using like 2% of my power to talk to you, to tell you why I don't have time to explain why I don't have time.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my tower.
Get the fuck out of my tower. Exactly.
Go defeat those orcs.
I don't.
Like, wait a minute.
What? What the fuck?
It sounds interesting.
I'm confused as to how you came to the I hate when they're NPCs doing that. Like, what? I wasn't saying that, huh?
No. He's just saying in general.
Well, you've said, like, in fiction, like, the reason why you don't like Gojo is because he's so powerful. How come he's not doing everything?
Right, yeah.
So if you have that kind of campaign where the whole point of the characters is, we are demigods, what do we do with our time now?
We're just, what do we do with that? But yeah, sure, that's fine from a fictional justification standpoint. I'm just saying I have no interest in playing the level 20 character who aimlessly goes around doing shit. That just sounds boring, especially if there's no end goal
it'd be like, again, stop in the vault, Avatar, right, but
there's no overarching finality to the goal. We're just like doing all these crazy events over and over again. Like that's the part I'm saying sounds boring.
Well, it could be like the DM could be hinting like, oh, all these natural disasters are being caused by like somebody. There was that whole. Did you guys ever read the? No. Let me finish. Fuck you. You were interrupting all the time.
Because you didn't hear what I said.
Wait. Let me just say this one thing. Did you guys ever read or watch the video? It's Shane the Shy. It's a very famous tabletop story about this one like asshole NPC that turned out to be a big bad evil guy campaign, and he would hire the players to go find a thing, and then that thing ended up causing natural disasters in every area. And so the players from level 1 all the way up to top 20 were tracking this NPC down, and every time they would encounter him, he would use everything in his power to not fight and to evade the party and disappear, which pissed the fuck them off like immensely. So you can do something like that where
but that's an end goal.
20. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know, but that's not what I was talking about.
No, I'm saying that's what you're like, there's no point to it. And I'm like, well, you can.
No.
You can drip feed it.
No, I understand. What I said was, I have no interest in playing that way, especially if there is no point. If you make a point, then sure, I might be more interested. That is what I was saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Isaiah was saying there's no point to it.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying is.
No, that's exactly what Isaiah was saying. He was saying there's no reason. That's just the campaign.
You can find fun in the monotony. The enjoyment is that to anybody else, to any other character, this is their entire world coming to an end. And for you, it was Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
That's what makes it enjoyable, is because you're the scope of it when you sit back and go, oh, this is insane to anybody else. But for me, I had to wake up at 9 a.m. to do this, Like, I think how could the world do this to me?
I think if it was just that, then I'm on Josh's side, where I think that would be funny for a one shot.
Yeah,
but then not a full 6-month game.
Yeah.
If it was, again, you do the volcano thing, and then immediately after you do the volcano thing, you find out there's a tsunami on the other side of the planet, and then you're like, the fuck? And you find out that it's some, I don't know, fucking
They're
like
interrelated
of the
in some
elemental or
fashion.
some shit. Like it's doing this, like you drip feed it. But if it's just like, you know, a day in the life of Superman, you know, like, oh, haha, you know, a gang of trolls is trying to rob the bank of Waterdeep. Oh, you silly trolls, fucking fireballs them.
Yeah, I'm not interested in a day in the life of Superman.
Yeah, eventually I think that would
actually
get boring, and you would have to drip feed into. There's a bigger plot going on underneath.
You know what's funny? The thing that I'm not interested in the day of the life of Superman. I'm more interested in a day of the life of Clark Kent. I care more about that. Like, if you the campaign about what do the level 20 adventurers do with their free time, I'd honestly probably be more invested in that.
That could be a part of it too, where it's like you guys are level 20 adventurers. What do you do? One guy's like, yeah, I run a fucking, like, I built an army and I'm trying to run a kingdom. Another guy's like, yeah, I run a thieves guild.
I built a coffee shop.
Like, I run an eatzeria with my lizard folk.
Eatzeria is what I'm talking about. I'm running a coffee shop. I don't know, fuck that army shit. Listen, I saved the world from the Tarrasque that one time. I'm making coffee now. Fuck off.
Like, isn't that what Pike's doing? Campaign 3 right now?
Yeah, she's a bakery.
Nice.
Well, so here's my question.
That's so fucking funny.
There's an entire RPG about that called Stew Pot. That's just the adventurers are done adventuring. Now they run a tavern. What are y'all up to?
That's pretty great.
I've played it. It's like a little. It's like a It's like a play it in one night kind of game. It's pretty good.
Yeah, 1-page RPG or something.
It's not 1 page, but it's a smaller game like that. Yeah.
So here's the question: because to me, I think it would be really interesting to figure out what exactly it is that your characters are capable of that's not just killing shit, right? Like, maybe your characters have godlike ability. It's fascinating to see how those characters would handle specific situations that are not entirely related to murking something, you know? And I think there's a lot of like, and sure, like you get some like homebrewed mechanics, or you kind of have to, considering, but I think to me, that's more interesting than finding out that it was Vecna in the end, right? Like, the breadth of things that you can do at level 5 that is sort of untapped gold, because a lot of the attacks are sort of a lot of the abilities are geared towards attacking, when you can theoretically use those abilities geared towards attacking to do other stuff. I think at least exploring that would be fascinating. And again, I'm not saying several year campaign, but like I could see that being fun for 24 sessions, right? Do 4 sessions per like natural disaster, which brings it to 6 total.
That's assuming you could come up with a natural disaster situation that's going to last 4 sessions. I think that would be the hardest part.
I think you could.
I think the players are going to solve the problem so quickly because they have.
I wish for the Earth to come closer to the planet and crush the volcano.
Yeah. It's like, we need to fix the volcano. I wish the volcano hole was plugged. You know, like.
Sure,
like that's going to be part of the problem.
Tsunami on the volcano.
That's kind of what I was saying before, where it's going to get monotonous because of how fast they're going to be able to solve these issues, because the game only gets really, really granular when you're talking about combat, and it's really not granular in any other circumstance. So I feel like they're just going to rip through this shit.
Potentially, and if you like, as far as the wish thing goes, yes, but there's a high chance that they only get that wish off once.
Sure, whatever. They're gonna have all this other crap. Like, I still think they're gonna rip through stuff. I mean, just by nature of the way the game plays out, and this isn't even D&D specific. This is just tabletop in general. RP stuff and like, you know, scenes of like social intrigue or whatever. You can kind of rip through those a lot quicker than the 4-hour combat session boss fight situation. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff always just goes a lot faster. So I feel like it'd be so hard to come up with like environmental encounters, as it were, encounters with a lowercase e, that are gonna like last. You know, like I don't know how I'd even do it.
Well, you'd have to have several objectives going at the same time. Your characters would probably have to either split up or break into teams, right? Because it's like, oh, don't split the party. Don't split the party is usually a situation of, if we split the party, one of the characters is going to get caught into a fight they can't win. It's not really the same thing when the wizard and the druid are like, we're going to stop the volcano. Barbarian and fighter, you help the civilians. Cleric, you like make sure that things go well for us. bard, I fucking play a dance, like play a guitar solo and fucking ask the gods for a crisp high five. You know, like you can have several things going at the same time.
Why did you do bard so dirty there?
Because I just think of Scanlan fucking standing on top of the Bigby's hand, playing solos to keep everybody's like.
Implying bards don't also have crazy high level magic.
I don't know. It's just my thought was funnier.
Rude. Did my boy's bards dirty.
I mean,
he'd be doing that and casting Wish.
That's what I'm saying. Bards can cast Wish.
So yeah. In conclusion, high level play makes brain hurt.
I think completely doable. Maybe a little too finicky for its own good as it is. It has a lot of potential.
Finicky is a very nice way to say fuck busted. It just wasn't, it's just wasn't designed for it, dog. Like it's so obvious. I don't know.
I think it would be that one of the main issues, and then this is actually going with the monsters that I know we said wasn't an issue, but like even Wizards have admitted, like, yeah, the CR math that we put in the Dungeon Master's Guide isn't actually what we use.
Nah, I don't think that
and
matters.
The CR math is wrong on all the monsters, and it's like, the fuck?
I don't think that's like a very, very tiny portion of why some people sometimes have a frustration with high level play, but I don't think that's part of the overarching issue. It's just a small little annoyance. Because a lot of people, because the thing is, by the time you get to high level play, a lot of people realize that the CR math doesn't work out the way they want it to, and just adjust for themselves accordingly anyway. Like they've dealt with that already at that point. Yeah.
I'm gonna say something bold. I'm gonna go as far as to say a lot of people just wing it.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think that's bold. I do think people wing it. I mean, what I do is I just the way I treat CR is I treat CR as if it were 1-to-1 with player level. So a CR 15 creature is a level 15 character, which I know is not how they say it works, but that's how I treat it. And then I just overshoot the player level.
You know what's funny? I've been noticing that too. Even at lower levels, my players right now with the whole knockoff Quidditch game, most of the characters when they were level like 4 or 5, they've been dealing with monster or other students who have been CR 4 and 5, and the math's been fine. Yeah. It's been fine. It's been fucking worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and then like literally it's like, okay, so if they're fighting the same number of enemies, I'll try and keep it within the 1-to-1 range. Oh, and they're fighting one enemy and they're level 5. Okay, so they'll fight a CR 9 monster. Like that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Pretty much worked.
Yeah. But Menelden, any closing thoughts on high level D&D nonsensory?
Don't do it. I mean, do it a little bit, but don't do it for very long. You can avoid it.
I say do it, try it out, see what happens. Try new shit.
Do it once. But
do my idea. Do level 20 event. Just do fucking the Justice League, but you're a D&D character. Try that. Try it and tell me if it works. I want to see it.
Yeah, I do want to try that. Like that does sound fun, but like I would definitely need to put some underlining like plot thing.
I don't know. I see a lot of ways I'm already getting annoyed or frustrated with that situation. I'm like,
what if it's like Oblivion, and each Oblivion gate summons out one of those new giants?
That goes into what I said previously, right? Where it's like, at level 20, don't fight. If someone's like, I want to fucking throw a steel beam, like I want to throw like an eye beam, a la Chad from Bleach. Barbarian's level 20, fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
what?
Because knowing your players, they could do like enhance ability and then fucking skill empowerment, and then it just gets wacky woo, and then it pulling it off anyway, and then
what does that have to
30
do
minutes
with,
have passed.
What does that have to do with Matt talking about the Oblivion gates?
No, well, I was responding to you when you're like, I can see several things where I could just get like annoyed at something. That's where I was like, just let shit happen.
Oh, I don't mean because of that. That's not what I mean. I mean getting annoyed because I can't keep up or reasonably make enough interesting things over and over and over again for these crazy high level characters. And then I start running out of ideas, and then they get bored because my ideas get really like monotonous or repetitive. And then at a certain point, I'm like, okay, How many volcanoes can I have them deal with? I don't know. And like them doing ridiculous shit. Like, yeah, obviously. That's
well, I think you're underplaying it. I think you're underplaying your ability. I think you could reasonably.
I don't believe in Josh, who doesn't believe in himself. Believe in Isaiah, who believes in the Josh.
Sure, Matt.
You're welcome.
I
fill you with confidence.
No, not at all.
Confidence everywhere.
Talking about the thing where all the weird, seemingly disparate calamities all linked together into a final thing just really makes me think of the DMC anime, because that was basically how that show went, where Dante just went on a bunch of random ass missions, and then at the very end it was like, all these missions, this one character in the background grabbed all the artifacts and became a super demon. You're like, oh, okay. The DMC anime was weird. I hope the new one's better.
I gotta check it out. Get some inspiration.
I hope the new one's better.
I like that Patty's canon.
I mean, fair enough.
I like the character a lot.
Is she though? I don't even know if that anime is considered canon still.
Doesn't need to be, because she shows up in DMC 5.
All right, yeah.
Oh, got him. Anyways, Josh, where can people find us?
Did you do that on purpose?
Right? No, did I do it right? Was that not what I was supposed to say? Fuck.
I don't even know anymore.
I'm legitimately, I thought that's what we say at the end. I woke up at 4 today.
Just follow us on
You know
Twitter.
what? I'm just going to say,
just
Josh,
follow us on Twitter. Just follow us on Twitter. Just follow us on Twitter. Christ.
Have you guys played high-level D&D? Let us know in the comments below.
Oh my god.
If you do Isaiah's idea, tell us.
Please do. I actually want to see how like what the longevity of that is. I think it could be pretty significant, but we'll see.
Yeah, we shall. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna go drink some more XP smoothie because my brain is fried.
Smoothie.